Does social anxiety keep you from connecting, sharing your gifts, or feeling confident? Well, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers profoundly effective strategies for facing those fears. In this video, we'll dive into 12 powerful Stoic practices that can transform your relationship with social anxiety. You'll discover how embracing a higher perspective, practicing courage, and cultivating self-mastery can help you break free from limiting social fears. We'll explore everything from rational self-talk to voluntary discomfort to Memento Mori. You'll learn tangible tactics modeled after legendary Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. These are timeless wisdom teachings tailored to modern social challenges. So if you're ready to live more fully, feel at ease socially, and become the master of your inner world, then stick around. Embracing these Stoic practices can profoundly expand your social comfort zone. Number 1. Embrace the view from above. The first Stoic strategy to reduce social anxiety is to embrace the view from above. This concept from Marcus Aurelius encourages us to imagine looking down at social situations from high above, like a bird surveying the world below. When we're feeling nervous or uncomfortable in a social setting, it can seem all-consuming in the moment. Our senses become hyper-focused on our own anxieties. But when we mentally shift our perspective to a bird's-eye view, we can see how small and fleeting any awkward social encounter really is. From high above, the minute details that trigger our social anxiety appear insignificant. That fumbled conversation doesn't seem so embarrassing when seen in the grand scale of our lives. The crowds that make us nervous look small and temporary. This wider perspective allows us to recognize that any social discomfort we feel will pass in time. By picturing ourselves as a bird calmly gliding overhead, we can tap into a feeling of tranquility. Our anxious thoughts lose their power over us. We realize our fears are exaggerated in the broader scheme of things. Embracing the view from above helps put social anxiety in its proper place, allowing us to carry ourselves with more confidence and grace. Number 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. The second strategy comes from Seneca, practicing voluntary discomfort. This involves gradually and intentionally exposing ourselves to situations that cause mild social anxiety and discomfort. It's natural to want to avoid feeling awkward or anxious, but when we always steer clear of discomfort, we never expand our social abilities. By taking small steps into mildly uncomfortable scenarios, we can systematically build up our resilience. Start by picking social situations that provoke just a little anxiety, then work your way up to more challenging interactions. For example, you might begin by making eye contact and exchanging hellos with strangers, then work up to short conversations, or attend smaller social gatherings before stepping into crowded parties. The key is to move at your own pace and incrementally face situations that are only mildly outside your comfort zone. With practice over time, activities that once triggered anxiety will start to feel natural and enjoyable. You'll build confidence in your social adaptability. Voluntary discomfort teaches us that we have far more inner strength and flexibility than we realize. By leaning into social challenges in bite-sized steps, we can gradually rewire our brains to respond to new situations with calm self-assurance rather than distress. Number 3. Engage in rational self-talk. The third Stoic tactic is to engage in rational self-talk when you feel social anxiety building. This comes from the teachings of Epictetus. It's easy to forget in an awkward social moment that other people's opinions and judgments don't determine our self-worth. We can fall into distorted thinking, convincing ourselves that slipping up socially is catastrophic. With rational self-talk, we can counteract these anxious thoughts. Internally, Remind yourself that you have intrinsic value as a person, separate from any social encounter. What others think of you does not define who you are. Any embarrassment or discomfort will pass. Also recognize that you have control over your own reactions and thought patterns. You can choose to respond to anxiety with courage and grace, rather than being controlled by irrational fears. Even if you feel nervous on the outside, you have the power to calm your mind with steady, thoughtful self-talk. Redirect your mental chatter to uplifting, pragmatic statements like, "I am worthwhile regardless of small mistakes. This anxiety will pass, and I have the ability to handle this situation." Rational self-talk loosens anxiety's grip, keeping your perspective clear and empowered. With practice, self-affirming self-talk can become second nature when you start to feel uneasy socially. You'll be able to act with poise and confidence, knowing temporary discomforts need not shake your self-worth. Number 4. Cultivate inner citadel. Cultivating an inner citadel means anchoring your deepest sense of self-worth and peace within, rather than seeking external validation. This powerful Stoic concept from Marcus Aurelius is about nurturing an unshakable inner foundation. Social anxiety often springs from excessive worrying about others' judgments and perceptions of us. We allow our self-confidence and self-image to be blown about by the winds of each passing social interaction. By developing a strong inner citadel, we ensure our worth stems from within. To build your inner citadel, dedicate time to knowing yourself on a deeper level through practices like journaling, art making, meditation, or spending time in nature. Explore your core values, passions, interests, strengths, and quirks. Identify the principles and causes you feel committed to. Recognize all of the unique gifts, talents, and perspectives you offer the world just by being you. Continue to strengthen this self-knowledge and illuminate your inner foundations every day. Tend to your inner citadel with care before stepping into any social environment. Developing this firm sense of self-worth allows you to act with authenticity and move through any situation gracefully. Your inner citadel ensures no passing social encounter can truly shake you, because you know who you are. The stronger your inner citadel grows, the easier it becomes to interact with others from a place of genuine confidence, without constant worry over external judgments. You'll be able to express yourself more freely and openly. The development of your inner world insulates your sense of value from the unpredictability of social life. You'll start to radiate a calm, centered energy in every room you enter. Number 5. Embrace cosmic perspective. This Stoic approach from Seneca encourages viewing our social anxieties against the vastness of cosmic time and space. It invites us to zoom out and recognize that we, along with all human concerns, occupy just a tiny sliver of a massive universe. When focused on an uncomfortable social situation, our problems can feel huge and overwhelming in the moment. But when we mentally pull back and take in the grand scale of galaxies and eons that exist beyond us, our worries suddenly seem very small and transient. From the cosmic perspective, we realize that any awkward conversation or embarrassing encounter is insignificant compared to the vast mysteries of the universe. Our social anxieties are merely blips that will fade into the cosmic flow. By visualizing the enormity of space and time surrounding us, we gain soothing perspective on what truly matters. Our stressful thoughts lose their exaggerated sense of importance. We recognize that every person, including ourselves, plays just a tiny role on the cosmic stage. This wider perspective allows us to take social situations less seriously and release overthinking. We can enjoy each passing moment, knowing our anxieties cannot endure in the grand scheme. When feeling socially uneasy, turn your eyes to the stars to regain proper perspective. Number 6. practice philanthropic mindset. This Stoic approach from Epictetus involves cultivating a philanthropic, others-focused mindset when we enter social settings. Instead of turning inward and being self-conscious, we can direct our energy outward to help put others at ease. Social anxiety often centers around excessive self-focus, worrying how we're coming across or what others must be thinking about us. By consciously shifting our attention to focusing on other people, we take the spotlight off ourselves. Look for opportunities to offer kindness, understanding, and empathy to those around you. Ask others questions and truly listen with care and curiosity. Provide support or a thoughtful compliment if someone seems nervous. Be generous with your attention. When we orient ourselves toward being philanthropic, social interactions become less about judging ourselves and more about uplifting others. We develop gratitude for the chance to exchange smiles, thoughtful words, and displays of our shared humanity. Practicing this outward mindset breaks the cycle of anxious self-absorption. We relax into social settings, knowing our purpose is not to be perfect, but to add warmth and care. Our own anxiety dissipates as we seek to spread goodwill. Number 7. Engage in Stoic role-playing. This approach involves mentally modeling the qualities of a wise, unflappable Stoic philosopher during social interactions. We can ask ourselves, how would a Stoic handle this situation? Picture someone like Marcus Aurelius moving through a crowded party with quiet grace, unfazed by judgment. Or envision Epictetus engaging earnestly in debate, impervious to embarrassment or ridicule. As we immerse ourselves in social settings, we can channel these role models and embody their tranquil, confident qualities. Straighten your posture and move deliberately. Respond to distress calmly and rationally. Exude quiet strength and self-assuredness. Stoic role-playing allows us to detach from our anxious thoughts and align our actions with our highest ideals. We visualize rising above social discomforts and acting with wisdom. This act of embodying Stoic qualities builds our actual social skills and poise. We internalize the grace and composure we envision, creating a positive feedback loop. Our outer performance comes to reflect our inner mental rehearsals. By pretending until it becomes real, Stoic role-playing transforms our social experience. Anxiety gives way to an empowering sense of mastery over our thoughts, words, and actions. We realize we can choose who we want to be in any situation. Number 8. Cultivate dichotomy of control. This Stoic approach from Epictetus distinguishes between what we can control and what we cannot. When feeling socially anxious, we can remember that we only have agency over our own thoughts, actions, and responses, not others' perceptions. It's easy to fixate on external factors like whether someone judges us or how a situation unfolds. But this is wasted energy, as we can't dictate other people or events. However, we always retain control over our internal domain. Rather than fretting over uncontrollable externalities, intentionally direct your focus toward your personal conduct and state of mind. You can choose to respond with courage and clear-headedness, rather than being dominated by irrational social fears. React with rationality rather than reflexive anxiety. By constantly monitoring your internal response and exercising your willpower, you take charge of the only thing within your control. External factors may not bend to your will, but your self-composure can remain steadfast. Cultivating this dichotomy of control keeps our locus of power in the right place, within ourselves. We recognize our own faculties are the only true agents of change. This frees us from wasting energy on uncontrollable outside perceptions and grants us dominion over our inner realm. Number 9. Practice Memento Mori. This profound Stoic approach from Seneca involves regularly reminding ourselves of the inevitability of death and the fleeting nature of life. Contemplating our mortality may seem morbid, but it can provide freeing perspective when faced with stressful social situations. When feeling awkward, judged, or embarrassed in a social interaction, we can call to mind that our lives are ephemeral and transient. Soon enough, we and everyone around us will perish. Our time here is sharply limited, our existence mere blips in the grand arc of human history. In the context of our brief lives, a moment of social tension or discomfort means very little. Fretting excessively over a few awkward interactions or conversations can seem indulgent when we know these trivial matters will vanish like dust when our lives end. Why waste our precious moments obsessing over such fleeting trifles? Regularly reflecting on the reality of death allows us to see our social worries for what they are: tiny, forgettable ripples in the ocean of time. Memento Mori washes our anxieties away, helping us recognize that our fearful thoughts hold no meaningful power over our temporary mortal lives. This is deeply liberating, allowing us to relax into social situations with humor, wisdom, and compassion. We have permission to stop sweating the small stuff and instead live and connect courageously, fully embracing each irreplaceable moment. While conjuring our mortality may seem depressing, it is actually hugely uplifting. It allows us to appreciate how precious and magical this gift of life is right now. We realize we can choose to spend our limited time generously, without getting sidetracked by insignificant social judgments or temporary discomforts. Memento Mori keeps us present in what truly matters. Number 10. Embrace Stoic acceptance. This Stoic approach from Marcus Aurelius involves accepting that some social anxiety is inevitable in life. Rather than fighting this reality, we can embrace it as an opportunity for personal growth. It's easy to grow frustrated with ourselves when shy, awkward feelings arise yet again in social situations. We may believe something is wrong with us. But from a Stoic perspective, some social discomfort is part of the shared human experience. When anxiety emerges, remind yourself that it's only natural to feel this way sometimes. Avoid judging yourself harshly. With openness and curiosity, witness your anxious thoughts and sensations without reacting negatively. Tell yourself, this too shall pass. Social anxiety may always arise on occasion, but each instance gives us a chance to respond constructively, with courage, humor, and grace. We can stretch beyond our comfort zone bit by bit, building emotional resilience. In this sense, anxiety presents an opportunity. Leaning into anxiety involves maintaining realistic expectations of ourselves. We are all works in progress. With mindful acceptance, we can improve over time without self-judgment. Social courage is a lifelong journey. Rather than wasting energy resisting anxiety, we can embrace it as part of our path. We focus on growing through discomfort, not eliminating it overnight. With Stoic self-compassion, anxiety transforms from an obstacle into a passageway for empowering self-discovery. Number 11. Engage in Stoic self-reflection. This Stoic practice from Epictetus involves regularly setting aside time for honest self-examination after social interactions. We can reflect on our thoughts, feelings, and conduct in situations that caused anxiety. Whenever you leave a social setting, pause to review your internal experience. What anxious thoughts and beliefs arose? How did you behave and respond while feeling uneasy? Were there moments of courage or discomfort? By journaling or meditating on these questions, we can gain wisdom about our anxiety triggers and patterns. Over time, we also notice areas where we are improving. Celebrate moments when you acted assertively or kept calm despite feeling nervous. Use self-reflection to zero in on skills you want to develop, like speaking up more or disengaging from self-criticism. Set intentions to demonstrate specific strengths in future interactions. Then assess your progress. This ongoing self-examination reinforces our control over our social skills and mindset. Rather than feeling passive before anxiety, we actively shape our thought patterns and behavior. We become the observers and authors of our development. Regular Stoic self-reflection provides a sense of direction and agency in facing anxiety. By knowing ourselves deeply, we can chart our growth with purpose and celebrate our victories. Our path forward reveals itself. Number 12. Practice Stoic gratitude. This Stoic approach from Seneca involves cultivating gratitude for the positive dimensions of our social experiences, even when they involve anxiety or discomfort. Rather than viewing social situations negatively when we feel uneasy, we can actively shift our perspective to appreciate their hidden blessings. Even awkward interactions present opportunities to gain wisdom, practice courage, and connect with others meaningfully. Before reflecting on a social occasion, take a moment to give thanks for its gifts. What did you learn about yourself or others? When were you able to push past fear and demonstrate strength or kindness? What insights did you gain? Focus on these positives while examining your experience. Feel empowered by moments of inner expansion. Cherish instances when authentic human connection emerged. By emphasizing gratitude, we train ourselves to see social interactions as fertile ground for self-discovery and relating, whatever challenges arise. Our anxiety becomes worthwhile when viewed as the doorway to growth. Practicing radical gratitude transforms social anxiety from a frustrating affliction into a valuable teacher. We enter each encounter with openness to learn and relate, knowing we will emerge wiser with newfound confidence and compassion. The positives overshadow any temporary discomforts. Remember, the key is to approach self-growth with patience and compassion. Implement these techniques gradually, at your own pace. With time and practice, you'll be amazed at how your social skills and inner resilience expands. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. I love creating content to help people live more empowered, purposeful lives. Your support really motivates me to keep these videos coming. Also, feel free to share any of your own tips on how you cope with social anxiety in the comments below. It's so valuable to learn from each other's wisdom and experience. Thanks again for watching, and may you all find peace and serenity in the Stoic ways.